And good morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. Off to the races we go for a Thursday. Big show coming up at 7 o'clock this morning. We'll have Bud and Burgers in to tell us about the big event that will take place downtown Meridian this weekend. Oh, it's a lot there. Also, we'll have Commissioner Brent Bailey coming in. He'll be here also around 7:30. He was in town a few weeks ago. We'll learn more about what he does and, well, how it affects you. It's all coming up this morning. Right now, we've dropped a couple degrees from where we were earlier this morning, where we started out at 50. We're now at 48 as this morning progresses. Chilly right now. Well, don't worry. It'll get up to about 77. There is a chance of sprinkles between 12 and 1. That's nothing serious, but we do have a chance there. So something to think on there. All right, let's go to Collinsville now to the First Baptist Church. Need to say a good message to start this day, don't we?
Some people in this life are musically gifted, and others, well, not so much. Take me, for example. I don't have one musical bone in my entire body. In fact, a lot of the students in our church, they have a video saved from when I preached last fall. When it came to the invitation and response time, I do what I always do. I sang. Nobody in the worship center could hear me, thankfully, because I really cannot sing. But on the live stream, my microphone was still on. And let's just say that it was pretty horrific to have to listen to. For anyone who had to listen to it that day, if you weren't here, man, I apologize. It was terrible. You can certainly say that I was not in harmony with everybody else. Romans 12:16, in the first part of the verse, it tells us that we are to live in harmony with one another. And that's not something that's easy. There are people who, look, we may not get along with as well because we have a difference in interests, in personalities, and in characteristics that we have. But we're still called to live together in harmony. Why? Well, because we're God's beacon of hope to the world. The gospel message is expressed through us. And if the church cannot live in harmony, then why on earth would somebody who isn't in Christ come to it? It's a hard thing. But God does not call us to an easy life either. So my question for you is, will you strive for harmony? Will you live in peace with those around you? We are the body of Christ, but a body won't work well if the hand and the foot are fighting each other. Proclaim the peace of Christ to the world, not only by what you say, but by the way you live with fellow people. Remember, change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. And welcome back as we begin another day. Odie is in the house as we get ready, as I said, for a big show coming up this morning right around 7 o'clock. As I get my days straight. Yesterday I was kind of off. Today is Thursday. We're coming up on the weekend. And Bud and Burgers is right around the corner. That's a big event for Meridian. I hope you'll join us for that. Odie and I will be down. I hope you'll come by and speak to us and say hello. Hope so. As we start looking at headlines that are around America, will this matter? Well, maybe so if the pollsters are right. Okay, I'm honest with you. When was the last time a pollster was 100% right when it comes to a presidential election? As we look at this, they say it's neck and neck, really tied between Trump and Biden. And the 5% that we're going to get coming out of this guy, what's his name? I'm trying to think of what his name is. It's running Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. could pull. He's going to sway this one way or the other. He's going to run as an independent, if I'm not mistaken. So he's in there. So he could sway the election. Who will he draw from? The Republican side, or will he draw from the Democrat side? I would guess the Democrat side. Generally, that's how that works. But who knows? I don't have a lot of trust in these things anymore on the huge scale. I'll say it that way. We'll see what happens. I just sit back and watch. You never know until that last vote is counted. We'll see. And I think there's a lot of distrust in the American dream and how things work in these other. We can't even get Republicans to elect anybody. Jim Jordan been shot down twice, and it looks like it'll probably happen again. McCarthy took, 8, 10, 12 times before they finally elected him? It just keeps going and going. They can't get along within the party. So how can they lead? That's worrisome, isn't it? But that's the truth of what really goes on there. All about, me. Yeah, that's me. Yeah, let's start over. Let's get some good folks up in there. We'll see what becomes of it. Who will get elected Speaker of the House? Who knows at this point? I've often said this as we have people that travel to other countries. We've got a journalist now that's been detained in Russia. And, of course, in Russia, do as I say. They can make up the rules as they go. They've accused her of something that she really hasn't done. It targets journalists. We'll see if she gets out. We hope she does. Not the place to go visit. Not the place to go cover a story. I understand you got to do what your job says, but Lord have mercy. Russia, Russia, Russia. Be careful there. Harvard students, it doesn't get any worse than this as we watch this from small town America. No matter where you are, I think most have agreed with us. In the larger cities, some people probably don't kind of think the way that the small town America, and no longer is it just the South that thinks this way, folks. There's places that vote Democrat, that small town America, that have the same beliefs as everybody else. It's majority the large cities that sway one way or the other. That what's the word I'm looking for? That maybe doesn't think the American way. It's kind of left of center of there's right and wrong, and then there's the big cities that go this way. Even Austin, Texas, Dallas, these large cities are going that way. As we see that these Harvard students hold a die-in in massive protest in support of Palestine. Now remember, they attacked Israel, killed children and babies.
Like an insurrection.
Yeah, insurrection. You're talking about the what happened yesterday at the Capitol. Did y'all see that? They took over the Capitol. Now, I saw where they said 100 was arrested. Well, they chased them down and hound them for the next 4 years until they arrest everyone and send them to jail for 10, 12, 14 years. It's highly doubtful. Which senator was it?
I can't remember her name. I'm trying to find it.
One of those that's in support that is a senator in the United States. That happened yesterday also. We'll get the story up this morning after 8 o'clock and talk about that. But Harvard students doing this, then they take over the Capitol, and we don't see a lot being done. And again, that's small town America. And you know what? It is small town America that is America. Does that make sense? I hope so. We see a nurse being formally sent to prison. 30 years is what he'll get. He was a nurse at a prison in Oregon. He was taking advantage of women in jail. He was the nurse. Y'all know where I'm going with that. 30 years is what he got sentenced to. Well deserved for doing that. As we get back onto the subject that we just had, a Department of Homeland Security officer was put on leave. Why? Bragging and praising Palestine and the Hamas for what they did. Homeland Security of the United States, an agent of that. I'm really going to get into hearing a little bit of what in the world is the world thinking. That's, As we look around, Mary Lou Retton, of course, gold medal Olympian, having some setbacks with pneumonia while she's in the hospital. We sure hate to hear that. We hope she gets over this and moves forward. Let's see, Netflix, as we've all learned, you can't be sharing your account anymore. They've gained, as they crack down on this, 9 million new subscribers to that low end. 9 million. A lot of cash there, isn't it? I think that thing goes for like $9.99, the low end version.
I pay $14 a month.
Odie's up to $14. I know we've got it, but I couldn't tell you what it cost. I want to say the chief executive officer handles that. Just told me not to ask. Oh, let's see here. Cher, we've got our first claiming, y'all. Cher claiming that she's going to leave the United States should Donald Trump be elected president again. She just doesn't think she could handle it again. I think I'm okay as I speak for Americans of go ahead and leave early. Why not? As Merle Haggard said, if you don't love it, leave it. That's my 2 cents on that. And this is sad. We'll talk about more about this. Anybody remember watching Rocky, the original show? Let me show you the picture. As Rocky Balboa, better known as Sylvester Stallone, sends out condolences. And I'll have to look at his name here in a second. Let me show you the picture. Remember his brother-in-law from the show?
Yeah.
He just passed away. He was 83 years young. And, of course, he was Rocky's, his sister who helped hook him up in that first show there with that. Burt Young was the guy's name. He has passed away at the age of 83. We pass condolences to his family. I don't really think you could have got anybody who could have played that part any better. He was good. What did Odie? Let me show.
Good. He had his little cigar and he always had his drink.
Yeah, he always had that drink, that cigar, no matter what he done. I really enjoyed those shows. The American Dream is what that was. Starting out with nothing and ending with a lot. That was Rocky. On the way, we've got your forecast next as we all get up together this morning. Again, chilly, 48 as you're up and at 'em. Ann Hall, how in the world are you doing? So good to see you there. Dalewood is up. Let's see who else we've got watching here as we glance around. Philadelphia, Terry Ray, good morning there. Newton County is up. Miss Joyce, how are you? I want to say I saw some Florida. Let's see here as we look here. Yeah, Chattanooga, Tennessee, checking in. Mark, how are you this morning? From all over, folks, join us. We certainly appreciate you. Join it. Share this as you can so other folks can find out what we do. We'll be right back where your forecast says, well, we start this day just for you. Will Parker's your local lawyer located here in Meridian. If you've been in an auto accident, see Will and get the help you deserve. Will explain your rights. Call or go online at parkerfirm.net. Will Parker, your local lawyer, 2110 Front Street, Meridian.
Health Now is your locally owned medical equipment store. Every person's need is a little different, and they offer a little bit of everything from hospital beds, wheelchairs, reclining back wheelchairs, breathing treatments, CPAPs and supplies. They even have walkers, bath products, and oxygen. And the great thing about Health Now is they offer same-day service. They're open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and on call 24/7. Health Now Medical Equipment, where we treat our patients like family. Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
As we look at our warmest day, it was 2016 that we set that record of 92. Back in 48, it was below freezing today. 30 degrees back then. Woof. As Joseph tells us out in Dalewood this morning, 48 there at Dalewood. I see that. It is some kind of nippy there. Indian Town, Florida, joining us also. Don Carney, how are you? Oh, Hickory. Yeah, Hickory's in there as well. As we look at today, cloudy, 77 to 78 should be the thin line that we do get. Now, if you'll see this green here that's showing up on the forecast, what does this mean? Possibly a sprinkle between lunch and 1 p.m. Very light chance, but we could get a sprinkle there, so be ready for that as you'll look up here north of Columbus where the actual rain will happen. As we move over to Alabama, we should see 75 there in Demopolis, up to Birmingham 72, and that little light rain line will follow I-20 from Meridian to Tuscaloosa over to Birmingham to 65. So light mist there today between lunchtime and 1 o'clock. As we look at the fire danger, it's there. It's back to a level 1. Limited threat is what we've got. Burn bans are 100% still in effect. So don't be burning as we start this. Let's see what else we've got today as we glance across this. The warmer weather right here, and you're going to see this weekend. As Saturday, we'll probably get between 83 to 85 degrees on Saturday, still into the 80s on Sunday. And maybe next week it'll start dipping down. We'll look at that in just a moment of when it changes again, because we do have the cool front out in our west coming from California, making its way across Nevada. Now, here's the extended forecast for the weekend. 75 today. By tomorrow, we'll end the week at 81. It'll almost feel like we're moving back a month, won't it? Saturday, anywhere between 83 to 85 is projected at this point. Sunday, we're still upper 70s, and we'll have those double sevens all the way through about Wednesday. Not bad at all. That's kind of nice, calm weather. As we move on, the change will come right around the 29th of the month as you'll start to see those 80s go down and that cool front move in from California, as we'll see 68 on the 29th. And as we get down in this, somewhere around 66, 67 as we move into November. I won't complain against that. Not at all. That's not too bad at all. Now, here's what we're watching with this. Tammy is now a tropical storm. At this point, she doesn't show a threat in any point to the Gulf at all. Moving along this morning at 40 miles an hour, 1,006 millibars is what Tammy is doing. We've got all that posted if you want to read more and look at the projected path of that. Now, as we move into our fishing calendar today, the wind's going to be south-southwest, somewhere between 5 and 10. That 10 could push it there for those lures, couldn't it? And it could interrupt hunting. We'll look at that in a moment there also. As we look at our best times to go fishing, it will be around 3:52 this afternoon to right up 6 o'clock. So we'll call it 4 to 6 is what we've got on that. Some minor times around 11 to 1. As we move into the fishing, from fishing to deer hunting, it looks like 3:59. Boy, they are really close today. So we're going to call it hunting and fishing. Best time to be out there is 4 to 6 p.m. this afternoon. A lot of times there's a big difference in between the deer and fishing, but today they're following right in path. Moon must be lining up just right. Again, the wind's going to be southwest 5 to 10 as you're getting ready for today. We're getting real close to the top of the hour. Lots to go over of what went on over the last 24 hours. Some folks are in jail, well, that need to be. Don't be breaking the law, and we had a lot of law enforcement agencies involved yesterday that we'll be telling you about what they've done, how they took some criminals off of the street, and what you need to watch. We hadn't gotten an official word, but I know enough about it to where we can give you a warning of what to look if you own a business. That's coming up this morning at 7 o'clock. Don't miss that. We'll fill you in all the details. We had a bunch of fender benders yesterday also. We've got that and so much more. And again, special guests this morning. We look forward to it. Join us, won't you? Straight up 7 o'clock, we'll be live with the latest headlines right here at the Scotty Ray Report. We'll see you soon.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners.